So I do have another video where I show how to remove the plate on this pedal foot controller, but I'm saying again, the metal plate bottom one, it's not meant to be removed. I do have tricks. It's up to you if you really want to risk the problem. Now inside we do have, I did show on another video, we do have this ceramic element. It has a hole in the center. It's secured with one screw. And it has inside that hole, these are the graphite, or if you want, carbon cells, or whatever name you can find. It's just kind of round pieces, thin pieces. It's graphite just like your pencil. And what's happening is that this transmit the current inside the tube, makes the current touch the two connectors. By the way, there is no polarity, so you can reverse the wires, it doesn't matter. And inside the tube, this is the tube, and that's just the securing screw inside the tube. There is one end that it's smaller, and I'll show how to put these bits back in place. One end that is smaller, one end that it's larger, and these two metal pieces that keep those bits inside. When you remove these pieces, all these bits will just float down. So make sure you work on a table. You cannot, you should not lose them. I did count them. There are 76 the same size, 76, 77 with a thicker one at one end, and this is the tip at the other end. So again, this metal plates, basically this is one polarity, this is the other polarity. Just keep those bits inside, and they are packed together just like I call this like a rod. These things will make like a rod, sit inside there, inside the hole, just like a rod, put one against each other, but they are not glued together. There's no spring too. Now the problem with these controllers is that when you press on the pedal, at least my problem, it feels like there is kind of one speed, and I move a little bit, then it's like a middle speed, and then a higher speed, like it's like three speeds instead of increasing the speed linearly. And that's because these bits of graphite in time, because they pass current and because graphite can just kind of burn, they kind of, if you want, I don't know how to call this, but you see at the extremity of the circle, this is how the graphite was when it was new. In the center right now, it looks dark, and also it's rough. It's no longer very smooth. And if you look on these bits of pieces, I did just align them funny like this. You need to take them one by one and flip it on both sides, because you will find some of them are just dark like this. And what you want to do, it's important, do not use anything abrasive. Use only a wet paper towel, or maybe a cotton ball, and just wipe it and simply remove that black dust that's on it. If you cannot remove it, sometimes it's simply stuck on the surface. It's okay, it shouldn't be a big problem. I'll show. There's another thing. Careful with this, it's graphite, it's like a pencil tip, so if you twist them, they will break. If you are missing one or two of this, I don't think it's going to be a problem, but don't break more than one or two, or don't lose more than one or two. So anyway, you want to give them a good cleaning if it's possible, so they look shinier. Perhaps not always, maybe rub with your fingernail, but again, okay, I think fingernail works better than just water. Okay, so that's a better result, because this dust that's kind of stuck on the surface actually is kind of, is like, I'm not sure what the name in the English is, like kind of dig into the surface. Is in French you say incrusté. It's this dust will just kind of unbalance the current passage, and that's why you get those variations, weird variations in speed. You see this one has a chip. I'm not sure why. Perhaps there was a spark at that point, because the current couldn't pass, because the piece was really covered with that soot. Oh, okay, There you have it. It was, I think it was already brittle, so this one goes to the trash, but at least I do have the remaining one. This is the end piece, one end, this is the other end, and you can tell this one is really, really dark, and you need to work it. These are the important parts to be cleaned up. Again, do not use any corrosive whatever you can find out. I do have this wire sponge. Do not use it on this thing. Do not use sandpaper either. It will just create a roughness at the surface, and then the current will really have a problem passing, or will not pass smoothly, and then you actually will increase your problem. So let's just say I did clean it up just for the sake of the video. The tip here, again, important to just rub it gently. If it doesn't show like shiny again, try just to rub it, put some force against the paper, just the paper, writing paper or something like this, 8 by 11 paper, regular paper. Just rub it with some force. You need to put some force on it so it kind of gets slightly back shiny again. I'm going to do this off the video afterwards, but I want to show you how to put these bits in place. Careful with them. This is one part of the, if you want the refurbishment. The other part is the metal contacts. Perhaps you can still see there is black dot here. Actually was much worse. I did on metal only. I did use this wire mesh, steel wire mesh. Do not by any means, do not use sandpaper on anywhere here, because it will cause scratches and that will prevent normal current contact. So use this wire mesh with just put pressure as much as you need. Put pressure. I'll show you another the other part. This end plate, actually I did clean it almost entirely. It still has some black spots. This was really black here. It was just like a black tip, and I had to put pressure. Actually, I did use I do have it here. I did put the wire mesh against it, and I did press with a piece of wood and rub it like this. It did took a lot of force to remove the black soot that was like glued there. It's really fixed on the surface because of the current will just cause that thing to happen. Anyhow, so I had to rub a lot of force here, and only then I could clean it. But use only this kind of thing. Again, do not let yourself go with the temptation to use sandpaper here. Do not touch with sandpaper. And these are the most important point to clean, to get that speed variable correctly again. So again, look at this surface. I think this one is going to be the worst offender. This other one is going to be quite bad, but not as bad. And then look at the small bits of whatever you call this, graphite and so on. Okay, let's just try to put it back in place, all these bits. And I want to mention something. Inside the pedal, you have this, whatever names you can find on these objects. I'll try to use my imagination. This is attached. You notice the notches. It's attached. You will find it's attached here, inside there. It looks bigger in the camera. It's not bigger. And the way you remove this is that you need to first pull on this spring. And by the way, carefully not to bend this plate, which is acting like a spring. Is very important not to. It has a small bend in here. It's really important to leave it as you find it. Do not try to pull on it, to twist it. It's very important not to damage the shape of it. So I was saying that to release that kind of tab, you just pull on this spring, and it's going to increase this gap here. and that tab to release it and also to put it back in place, you just, let's just try to use my you just need to, hold on, I'm trying to do this, you just need to release this tab a little bit and maybe just slide this thing in there. Let's just see. I think it, I forgot actually the angle. I think, let's see, this thing stays about, I would say, I guess it stays, okay. Let me just try to figure out how it was located inside. Oh, something on my floor. So this guy, it's not like this. Okay, the cable goes from there. So this is the end with the cable. Oh, okay. That's my issue was that it was flipped on the other side, I think. Let's see. Okay, I think that's pretty much like this. Hopefully, because the screw goes in there and through that hole. Let's just try to put the screw back in place. That's the cover doesn't hold anything. I just need to just pile up a bit those pieces because one went on the floor, and let's perhaps be more careful with them. Usually I would just keep them in a small Ziploc bag, and that's safer, but for the sake of the video I went to just put them on line like this. Okay. So I was saying, I think when you first get this thing, it will pretty much look like that. Yes, I think that's the way it sits in there. And then if I would find that piece of screwdriver, which I don't, okay, let's just skip on that step. Anyhow, so you will find it like this. I think it's better to remove the securing screw. And by the way, the securing screw, which kind of, it goes in this hole here in the center. So when you find it like this, maybe just disconnect the cables. And also this one has sort of a locking, it's like a locking plastic piece that will stay outside and secure the cable. This piece is a bit tricky. It kind of catches the cable. Let's see how to find this thing. So it catches the cable, but you notice that the cable is flat and this piece is rectangular here. So you need to match the rectangular orientation with the flatness of the cable. And when you pull it, I think it goes like this. Was it? No, it goes with the small kind of hook. It goes inside. So when you pull it from there, what you should do is just depress this sort of a tab just like that, and wiggle and pull from there, but it's not going to be easy. And oftentimes sometimes I understand the cable also can be broken where it enters the box. So that's how it goes out and in. But again, you need to replace it in there because it keeps the cable from being pulled from the unit. And I can show you maybe how it works. It kind of, see, okay. So it has this tiny strap. It has this tiny strap that keeps the two pieces together, and it just hooks on the cable like this, and you just secure it back in place, and it slide it in when the cable is inside, goes through it. And the cable, you have two connectors here. Again, polarity doesn't matter. You detach the two connectors and you slide the connectors through this. Actually, you don't need to slide it. You just remove this piece, you open it, and you free the cable. You free the piece from the cable. I think you will figure out if you want to go this way. Let's just put this back like this. Now, again, for this guy here, remove the screw that secures the ceramic piece. And by the way, this is brittle. Don't drop it on the floor, don't knock it with something, and remove it from there towards the screw. And also when you secure the screw, don't force too much because you are screwing on the brittle material. So just secure, but don't force on the screw. And this end here, again, look how it goes in there. This end you want to is going to be secure inside like this. You want to rotate the ceramic part to put it perpendicular, and that's how you remove and put back this thing in place. Perhaps I'll show you if you did see, you just try it at a different angle. So this is how you remove it and you put it back in place. Notice the angle here. Maybe try to hook it at this tip, like at the other end. Hook it into that notch first and just slide the second notch and just align with the notch and rotate. And this is how it stays secured in place like this. Hopefully you can see it. And that's also how you remove it. You rotate this thing 90 degrees and try to free either of the notches, not sure which one. Okay, perhaps try to push like this. You notice the movement, push like that and free the outer notch. Outer, can I say that? Outer notch. Let's try to do it. How about that? It's kind of stuck in there. Okay, let's try to free first the inner notch. Inner, is that the word? It works. Perhaps you can toss also the spring a bit. Okay, it went. Wiggle it a bit. I cannot show you more than this, but that's the whole idea. Don't be afraid of it. Don't force too much on this one. Maybe also pretty brittle. Before I put those bits back in place, I'd like to point to you that this pedal makes a bit of noise. Yours will do the same. If you hate this, or if you don't feel about hearing this every time, it's the spring that's inside. Mine has slight rust on it. Just get that sewing machine. Get that sewing machine oil. Put maybe one droplet where the spring sits on that rod, not at the ends of the spring, but where the spring sits on that rod. Try to put a droplet on one end and let it leak at the other end. Don't put more because you are going to have it on your carpet on the floor. Just one droplet should be fine. Maybe, I don't know, use a Q-tip to spread it, something like this, and this should fix that squeak noise. Now let's just put the bits in place, because that was my original, my very original goal for this video. Give me just 2 seconds. Okay, I'm going to put this the last one. Okay, so this is pretty important, the way these bits go in there. Again, there are 75. I'm not sure if I will film all the 75 of them, perhaps, yes. What you want to do is this tip will just come out through this hole where this metal piece is. The tip will just come out here, and actually it locks in there. It cannot drop from there. So this tip is the first one that we are going to drop in there. And notice how I'm dropping it. The thicker part is towards, if you want, I don't know how to say this, but it goes like this. Just observe the geometry, push it gently and just let it drop in there, and you should see the tip coming out here. So this is the thinner part. The thicker part is what's holding it inside. And at this point, make sure you identify in the pile the one thicker part. I call this part, I don't know what, a cell or whatever you call this, a peel. So make sure you identify one thicker part is noticeably thicker than the others. I would say it's 3 times or more thicker than the regular ones. This one, the thick one, it's the last one that will go in there on this end after you put all others. So the thick one, put it on the side so you don't forget, so you don't mix it with the others. And then the others, it really doesn't matter, but The thing is that they can drop in any position in there, and you actually want them to get inside like this. They should really pile up inside to form like a pencil, if you want, or a bar. I call this a bar. So when you drop them inside, there's not much you can do. Maybe wiggle it and just look inside, maybe use a flashlight and just make sure they drop flat. So let's just try to put this on the table. Don't be aware, don't be worried, they won't drop out of there. Just keep it like this, and let's just pile them in there. Whoops, it doesn't stay very well. I'm not sure. I'd like to take them from the table just by pressing on them like this. Let's just see if I can put this in front of the camera. Whoops, yes. There's how about I'm keeping it like this, maybe. So that's the whole point. If you have if you have other foot controllers, it's not going to be exactly these same bits, but it's going to be, just shake it once in a while and maybe push the bottom one, push the bottom tip up so they just kind of fall flat in there. You won't see it in the camera, I think, but I can see it myself looking inside. If you have other foot controllers from the same era, this one is from 72. This one again is for Singer and other models. If you have other foot controllers, you will still find some sort of a ceramic piece, but inside it may be very different. These bits may be actually, sometimes one is thinner but not by much. These bits may be actually more longer pieces. I do have another foot controller where I could not remove these bits from inside. So all I could do on that foot controller is just clean the metal ends. And it did work fine, but there may be that kind of dust inside, and you cannot do much about it. Make sure just push a little bit from now and then, just to make sure they fall in there correctly. So on other foot controllers, you may not be able to kind of, if you want, fully do this full refurbishment of each graphite piece, but that's the trade. I think you can also replace foot controllers, but my take on replacing the foot controllers is that you need to get one that fits the power of your motor. In other words, if a foot controller was designed to work with a 0.7 amp motor, do not use that foot controller on a 1 amp motor, because that motor will ask more current, and it will overheat the foot controller, and when it overheats, it may melt the wiring, and the wiring may start make electrical contact in between the polarities, and that may start a fire. And if you leave your machine unattended and plugged into the wall, that fire may obviously cause well, big problem in your home. Remember, it's a matter of safety. And I was also thinking at some point, I'm almost finished. I was also thinking at some point about these foot controllers having live current and sitting on the floor, and maybe depends on the place, obviously, but maybe sometimes you get a flood inside your apartment. That happens, obviously, and these have like I say, the voltage, high voltage, 100 something volts. I think that can cause a short or something like this. So I don't know, maybe it's a good idea not to leave them on the floor when you are not at home. Okay, so that's it. Obviously there's going to be some movement in there. You can tell how the pile now, right now, maybe, I don't know, maybe just put a bit of pressure on it or just wiggle it to make sure they sit down. But I can tell you that when I push this thing all the way up flush with my finger, that's how the top bit, it's sitting, basically it's sitting flush. So flush down, flush here, and that's perhaps how you know all the bits are sitting correctly. Again, I'm missing one that was broken. I'm not going to put it broken in there because it may cause them to get stuck and might cause other problems. And this is the last one. I didn't put it yet. It doesn't matter which side it goes in there, but this, I'm going to clean it off camera. This is the last one, the thick one that goes atop. If you lose this one, it's not a good news. So be careful with this one. Okay, so right now the tip is out here. I don't think it's important to clean around the tip. It's just around it, just the tip part, it's important to be clean. So with this bit coming out from there, look how much there is kind of a gap here. And basically the whole idea is when you press on the pedal, let's just try to use it like this. Obviously you are going to have the other bits covering here. When you press on the pedal, what's happening, it's simply this moves. And I do not understand the principle of it. Why this kind of movement actually varies the current that can pass through. I have no idea why, but that's how it works. And there is, again, no spring inside. And I don't know, that's how it works. It's a sort of a potentiometer, but I didn't study physics for this. So anyhow, this bit goes, it has like a bump on this side and it's depressed on the other side. So the bump part, the concave part goes over the hole to cover it. And you have on the ceramic part, you have two tiny holes on one side and two bigger one on the other side. Just keep it, make sure you keep it like this. If you let it drop like that, everything will drop on the floor. So make sure you keep it on this side with your finger. And this one goes with the concave part, with the bumpy part over the hole. You see there's already kind of a small chip here. And the two screws go into the small hole, not in the bigger one. So the part here goes like this. Make sure, again, cover it, keep it maybe vertical like this so you don't drop it by mistake, and it stays just like that. It stays basically flush, and then screw these things in, maybe by hand. It's funny, these screws actually screw into ceramic material. You can tighten them a bit, but don't over tighten them because it's ceramic, it's not on metal, and if you force, you just scrub the ceramic and you won't stay secure. If that happens, you may want to glue this bit here. Okay, so you just tighten them, or just slightly snug should be fine. Don't force, maybe not. Okay, just give it a small snug. Yeah, let's see. I'm using just the tip of the screwdriver. Yeah, I recommend don't use the screwdriver handle because you are going to force too much, but just rotate a bit by hand like this, and maybe look at my angle. I'll try to get the right torque. So look at the alignment of the screw, how much I'm going to keep rotating. At this point it stops, and the torque, the tightening, is going to be about this. That's it. So it makes a slight angle, not to lose, because this piece here, why does, hold on, it's strange that it moves like this. Let's just try to tighten the second one. So at this point it stops. Sorry, at this point it stops, and I'm going to tighten it. Oops. A little bit more. So it's really not a lot. It's strange. Why it does move like this? It surprised me. Okay, I think what's going on here is perhaps difficult to figure out, but the screws do not screw into the ceramic part. There is no threading into the ceramic element, because you see the screws are just loose in there. Actually, the screws tighten against this very metal plate. They just get hooked, or if you want, tighten against the plate itself. Okay, so it's not something you worry about tightening it too much. Just tighten it. Don't overforce it. There's no need, but it's tightening against the metal, so don't worry about what I was saying previously, that you damage the ceramic. You won't damage the ceramic. So just make sure it's tight in there, it stays nicely, because otherwise it will drop from there. So you don't want it to drop from there, this plate to drop from there. And then the two connectors, power polarities from the cable, just go in there with those like forks, tiny forks, and just tighten these things down. And again, you will tighten against that fork, and make sure you insert them properly, because you don't want the cables to touch together by like pull from there and touch together. And just give it a snug tight here. Just snug tight, not too much, because sometimes the plate is pretty thick. You won't strip the plate, but don't exaggerate. Don't just force too much on the screwdriver. And that's how it sits in there, basically. That's the whole point. Basically, this assembly, it's what's varying the current with the two cable connected here at the other end. It's just moving like this. I think, is there a movement? Let me see. Yeah. So if I keep it upside down like this, you can tell all the bits move inside by about this amount. So it's really not a lot. It's just this movement. I don't know how much it is. I would say 1/4 of an inch or so. And when you press the pedal, it will just move like this back and forth. And it's really this kind of small movement that will actuate the machine, and will vary the speed of the machine from very slow to very high speed. And also you have this plate which kind of has a springy action too. So that's the whole mechanism in there. You don't see much on the other end, but this is the entire tire movement. So this is about it. Remember to engage it properly on this piece here. Again, I think it may look confusing because it can flip on both sides. Let me just give you again the idea how to put this back in place. So you see the hole for a securing screw. You have a small end and a bigger end. The screw goes on the bigger end like this, and it will enter this hole, match this hole. And let me just try to, okay, the way you need to figure this positioning is these are the ends for the cable, and this is the hole for the cable. So obviously the ends for the cable will go on this side where the cable enters, facing like this. Okay, this is what you see, and this is behind, which will go against the plate. So you will see this bar here, all those bits, and it will sit. Just make sure you align the screw with a tiny hole about. Let's try to do it. Try to screw it a little bit to start it. I'm just showing you. Okay, no, I didn't aim properly, but you want to aim that screw at the hole. Maybe it's going to just keep the screw down like this, so the tip comes up, and try to match it with the hole. Just wiggle a bit until it hits the hole, and then screw it down. And this tab, or whatever you call it, flip it like this. It goes the opposite side of the cable. The cable goes this way, this tab goes this way. And don't forget to attach it here before you put the ceramic in place. So I'm showing just the position of the ceramic component, but before you put it in place, just lift it from there, attach the cable like the way I did show, and then put it back in place, secure with the screw, attach the two cables, and that kind of jamming piece or whatever you call it. Sometimes if you have troubles with this piece, what you want to do is simply insert the cable with the two connectors, and before attaching the connectors, pass the cable, grab it from the other side, grab the two because it has like two cables, two connectors, and just make a tie of the entire cable, not in between the connectors, the entire cable. Just make a tie, one single tie or maybe two ties, and just make it small and put it inside by the hole, and that tie will prevent the cable from being pulled, which is very important. That's the safety part. And only then attach the two like forks, and they attach here. So just use this, the two connectors of the cable attach here and here. It doesn't matter the polarity, you can reverse them, that's okay, but be careful, do not try to attach them here, that's completely different. So they attach there and there, you unscrew a bit, you pass the small fork, screw down safely. And this one, the center screw, okay, because this time it does screw on the plate, but it does screw against the ceramic. So I would say, let's try to see how much force you use to tighten it down. Go gently, so give you an idea. So look at the alignment of the screw. Okay, at this point it did stop. It already makes a bit of angle. Let's just try to tighten it down. I will not use this, well, okay, let's just use the screwdriver, but I don't want to put too much force on it. Let's just use the screwdriver, and I'll show you the rotation I'm going to do to tighten it down. Just feeling. That would be it. It's not a lot. I'm not forcing on it. It's not too light, too loose, but I'm not forcing too much because it will break, it will even crack the entire ceramic in two, and then it's completely gone. So it's not a lot of torque. Let's just try to loosen it. I'm going to do it again. So I rotate freely until at this point it did stop, and I'm going to tighten it down again from this moment on. That's about it. I don't think it's even 1/4 of turn. 45 degrees is less than that. Let's just try to see again. So it about stops here. Okay, stops here, which is almost 45, like a 45 degrees. It's tight. Yeah, I would say it's less. I'm not sure the angle of the camera was good. Let's try it again. So it stops about here, and it's less than 45 degrees. I would say it's 30 something degrees, not even 1/4 of the turn. It's less than 1/4 of a turn. Don't force too much, because at some point you feel like it's harder to turn, and if you continue, that's when you may crack the material. Okay, so this is my suggestion for fixing this if you are patient. But again, I will link the other video about removing this cover, which is really crazy to remove and also dangerous. You can cut yourself. And it's not meant to be removed. I do explain that in another video. I don't want to lengthen this video more. But again, remember, these food controllers go with a specific motor power, amperes, because those bars or those graphite element have a certain thickness, certain length, which are designed, calculated to pass a specific amount of maximum current. So do not interchange foot controllers in between motors on different saving machines, because again, what happened, like I was saying, you may just have this element heat altogether, the graphite or carbon elements inside will warm up a lot. It will heat up this ceramic element, it will heat up all the metal plates around, and ultimately it will heat up the cables in between and may even burn the cables, and then the cable may touch together or may touch with the case and cause a fire or electrocution. So do not try to put a controller on a different saving machine, in my opinion. Okay, I hope it helps you this, and it's definitely not a job for everyone. I'm aware of it, especially removing this cover, which is really crazy, but hopefully maybe someone will just take a chance at some point and try to fix their machine. This is how it works inside. I keep the pedal with my hand. I'm going to depress it now. So you depress it, actually that rod will just kind of stand out. It pushes back. I'm not sure how it goes back by itself, but maybe the current is pushing it back. And you notice how this whatever you call it material is being swung by the rod from the pedals. This is the rod from the pedal. It's pulling on this piece, brown piece, which is pulling on this spring, which is pushing that element inside. And remember that the cover, when you put it back in place, it goes this way with this notch towards the cable side. It slides like this. These are the stops that you need to overcome when you remove it.